Today is a special day. My father has a birthday. He's turning.
Happy birthday!
It's an amazing age. He can spend a lot of time with his grandchildren and children, and I want to prepare something special for him. And I want to take you on a journey how to make a wonderful birthday gift for your loved ones. So I know my father likes roses, and I will go to his garden and pick some references for the rose painting. Choosing a good reference is an important part in any painting process. Good reference makes good painting, so take time and choose. Yeah, I have references. I know what I will paint. Let's go and paint. And I have a real rose necklace for good luck. I'm back in my studio, and before even starting to make reference, line drawing and everything, I need to figure out how I will represent my painting. So I have a frame. This is quite small frame, and I will measure it, make this square on original painting paper, and then I will make line drawing from my reference photo. Let's go! I take a lot of photos when I'm picking a reference, and after that I come into my studio in normal studio light. I go through all the photos, choose several, and then I go to my computer, remove background to see how it looks just individual with any background noise in the photo. I'm removing background in Photoshop right now, but it also is done in Canva or some other mobile apps. With this reference, I'm erasing manually some background parts because there's so many leaves and other stems around, and it's not so easy removed by some mobile app. And I also leaving few leaves still visible. I will add to my composition some leaves, really just a loose touch of leaves, but as there are so many details of leaves, I'm leaving just a bunch, and then while I will be painting, I will choose which ones I want to add to my composition. As the background is removed, I need to check the size. Should it be bigger or smaller according to my frame? Taking ruler and checking so there are no mistakes when I will transfer it already, and then it is hard to make it smaller or bigger. Placing transparent paper over my screen, and I will outline my rose. I will leave a link here to a video where I explain several transferring methods. When transferring an outline, we need to get all details, not just vague lines, but all details are important. Little curves, folds, little tips, everything should be included in the line drawing. Checking again with frame if everything fits perfectly, not too big and not too small. We need to have few centimeters of the outer edge, so the composition is placed beautifully. Here's the frame that I will be using. I need ruler, pencil, and a sketchbook from which I will take paper. When I'm measuring the size of the frame I'm also adding few centimeters more so that the paper hides underneath the frame. In my sketchbook I have 300 GSM watercolor hot pressed 100% cotton paper, which is smooth and will be perfect for this painting. Marking size for my frame with those few centimeters more so that the paper will be under mount. And here with little dots I have the real size of the frame which will be visible so that my composition is not going over these dots. I have my line drawing, which can be now transferred to original painting paper, taking a graphite stick and covering the other side of a line drawing with the graphite. You can use also simple graphite pencil. Just graphite stick allows me to make it a little bit faster. Turning around, carefully placing in the middle of my original painting paper. You can check with the ruler if the composition is in the center of our original painting paper. With mechanical pencil, I'm outlining again. Be sure to add all details. Outline all the smallest things that you see, because if you don't outline it, don't transfer it, you will not paint it. By saying, oh, I will do that later, no, you will forget it because you will be already overwhelmed with all the other details. So you need to transfer everything, each little fold, each little curve, some tips, maybe spikes, everything should be transferred to your original painting paper. Before removing, check if everything is transferred and then lift your hand and remove transparent paper. Using much thinner mechanical pencil 0.3, I will outline again. And here it is important to do that super lightly. Don't push too hard. We don't want graphite outline to be visible throughout all the painting process, and even after finished painting, those graphite outlines aren't quite beautiful in realistic watercolor painting. In order to avoid that, we need to use really light lines in this process. When everything is outlined and you did it lightly, with elastic eraser, I am removing the excess amount of graphite off the paper, so the outlines are even more lighter and more thinner before starting painting. Line drawing is done. Now to mixing watercolors and then to painting. I'm using ceramic palette, watercolors. Pigments used in this tutorial are Permanent Rose, Sennelier Red, Manganese Violet, Perylene Violet, Sap Green, Lemon Yellow, and Perylene Green. We can start painting process. With round synthetic brush, applying water to first petal. Each petal will be painted separately, and be sure that after mixing watercolors, your water is clean. Starting with Permanent Rose, very light wash. And I'm starting to apply from the shadow area that I see in the reference. Also adding Permanent Rose together with Sennelier Red for warmer color tone. And shadow area is my safe place where I start any watercolor painting. I recommend open reference right beside your tutorial, on a computer on that same screen or on the other gadget, and zoom in closer the area that I'm working on. Do you see these shadows? Do you see these little details? Because when we first look, we just see an overall form, overall lines. When we start to look carefully, we notice these little things that makes any painting look realistic. Moving forward, finer to brush, small amount of water, Permanent Rose together with Sennelier Red, and a little bit of darker watercolor mix. This petal is covered with the front one and is in the shadow. Be really careful with edges. We don't want to make this dark watercolor mix enter the lighter petals. Now this petal, which is completely in the shadow, covered with the flower head, I'm adding Indian yellow, a little bit from darker watercolor mix, and also warmer Permanent Rose with Sennelier Red. Full tutorial of this rose painting is available on my Patreon, from beginning touches till finishing, with all the explanations and demonstrations. Getting back to flower head. Now that we are reaching finishing stage, it is time to zoom out and take a look on overall look of this rose. Compare where we need to add more shadows, build contrast. Maybe some details are required on some petals. This is the stage where you can push yourself a little bit further for some extra time even after this tutorial is finished. Be sure that you're painting transparently and don't rush things. Rose is finished. I'm happy with the result. Now I can remove paper from my sketchbook, checking if paper haven't buckled, and now I can cut out. Be sure to cut out the line that is bigger than your frame size so that the paper goes slightly underneath the mount. Check twice. I'm also erasing graphite lines that stated the size of the frame. I don't want to have any graphite lines visible. Signing my work. If you are gifting to someone, it's better to sign on the front side and also on the back side. Year, your name, and the name of your painting. Also, you can write a wish on the back side of your painting. Now we can frame our little painting. Frame is ready. At this stage, be really careful with your work. Be sure that your hands are clean after painting and using graphite. And now is the time to place your painting in the center of this mount. Move it, see it, how it is placed. You can check with ruler, are the gaps between your composition and corners of mount are equal on both sides, up and down, from left to right. Check twice. This is the part you don't need to rush. Do it accurately, carefully. I'm using tape and securing my painting on the back side of the mount to be sure that the painting will not fall down in your frame. Attaching last one. Signing on the back side of painting and writing some little note to my father. This frame is from IKEA and I have a plastic cover to protect watercolor painting. It also has a film that should be removed before framing completely. And this transparent film is protecting from dust and some scratches along the way while you are carrying it from shop and framing. All watercolor paintings should be framed with a cover. It can be plastic or glass. Glass is a bit more expensive and fragile. Plastic is more affordable. Plastic is also great for sending to someone. It will be much safer rather than shipping with the glass. Final quality check of the frame and painting. It is finished, framed. Everything looks neat and nice, and this is really a lovely gift to anyone you care for, you love, you want to show appreciation. Art made by you, and it really doesn't matter how good or bad it is if you made it with love. Don't stress about the outcome. Your loved ones will be happy to receive a piece of work from you, made by you with love. And now I think I will add some bows, some final touches, and let's go and gift it. I want to add a bow. I need to choose red or green. I think there's already too much pinks and reds, so green will be just perfect. I will attach with double-sided tape on the corner of a frame. So we are going to gift a present. Hey! Okay. We live right beside our parents. And our dog is super comfy also here.
Hey! Everybody say cheese.
Thank you for watching this tutorial and video. Thank you from all our family. Have a wonderful day and see you in my next tutorials. Bye bye!